Yeah, it's a big game, buddy. It's a game everyone looks forward to every year. And kind of throw the records out the window. I mean, obviously, buddy, I want to ask you this because you've been covering this game for a long time. Has Georgia ever been the number one team in America when we played them?
I don't think so. I don't remember it. If it is, of course, my memory's not the greatest, but I don't ever remember them coming in number one. And I thought Dan Mullen made a great point last night. This is twice he's played number one this year. So let's put the tall order. But no, this game has, I mean, I laid there this morning at 5:00, and I don't normally do this, thinking about this game and what it reminded me of, and trying to think if I can remember it being more hopeless for Gator fans. And I guess probably after the 1968 game when Georgia beat them 51-0 in the rain, a game that I saw, that was about as low as it got. But that produced, the old Newton's law. I'm not good at calculus and algebra, but even I know that one. For every action, there's equal and opposite reaction. And then that spawned the 1969 Gators and the Super Sauce, which is also known as Camelot with Reeves and Alvarez, because out of that game came some bitter resentment. Georgia, although it wasn't a Georgia game, and they had a great season. So sometimes when you get so low, you feel like you can sit on the rug and swing your legs, funny stuff happens.
We got a Facebook Live here brought to you by Melvin Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Richard says, buddy, I met Buddy when I met Coach Spurrier in 2017. I have a Spurrier tattoo. Okay, Richard, you can't be giving us comments like that. We got to see your Spurrier tattoo now. Here's what that's all about. Speaking of Coach Spurrier, he was 11-1 against the Dogs as a coach. What was his record as a player, buddy? Wasn't very good, was it?
No, he lost that game his senior year. I think he beat him his junior year, and of course, he did play as a freshman. So I think he might have been. I have to look it up. I think he might have been 2-1 or 1-2. I'm not sure which. But remember that big game he lost in '66. You don't remember it, and nobody remembers it but me. But I can tell you this team was flying high. They were ranked 5th in the country. This didn't happen back in those days. You never got a team in the top 10, ever. And they were undefeated, sailing along 6-0, and they go into Georgia, going to Jacksonville. And I remember the night before the game, sitting down with the offensive coordinator, Ed Kinsler, RIP, my buddy Ed, what a great guy he was. And he laid out the whole game plan for me. Back in the days when coaches did that. He showed me what was going to happen when Georgia blitzed, tight end over the middle, half black flare pass, et cetera, et cetera. We do it up with beer bottles. He said, this is what's going to happen when they come after us. Unfortunately, they didn't account for guys like Jake Scott over the safety position and knocking down the tight end over the middle. And they didn't account for a guy like Bill Stanfill, the great Larry Smith, one of the greatest players in the history of Florida football. Every time he went out for it as a safety valve in the flat, he was tackled by Stanfill, and the referees never called it. So that was a day that Steve threw, I believe, 3 interceptions. I'm not sure. That was a dark day for him. But you know what? He made them pay later.
Yes, there's no question about that. I think he did have a losing record as a player, because that's why he hated Georgia so much. John says, what about the Ole Miss fan that got a Feinbaum tattoo during SEC Nation?
Yeah, I saw that.
I missed that as well.
I saw it. I saw it. He got a Feinbaum on one, and what did he get on the other one? I forget what the other. They're both the thighs. Shane, do you have a tattoo?
I do not.
I don't either. If you were going to get one, what would it be, Shane?
Gosh, that's a great question. It'd be something along either like my kid's initials or maybe a small gator head or something like that. But it'd be like somewhere where you really couldn't see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I'm not a tattoo kind of guy.
I'm not either. But I was thinking if you had to get one, I mean, would you think about SOS or would you think about number 9? What would you? I've thought about this a lot.
I ain't gonna put Coach Spurrier's initials on me, but maybe a number 9 or something.
You've already got them on. You already have. You have his initials on you already tattooed, but you just can't see it.
Yeah. Brandon says on Facebook Live, how the expectations have changed. The Gator coaches talking about having to play number 1 twice in the year. I remember the days when we were the big boys on the block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's we also got another this was interesting here, buddy. You know, we lost I think a linebacker top recruit a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
But last night the top recruit on our board bowed out. And It says here on the Facebook Live, Shane, after losing our other top recruit last night, how is Dan going to salvage this program going forward? We don't have the talent right now, and doesn't appear we will have the talent next year either. Your thoughts on that, buddy?
Well, starting, it's not exactly a bell ringer. I mean, the Gator Nation now is about to slip into an abyss where it was when Mullen arrived here, because it's nothing but bad news. And I get it. You're playing the number 1 team in the nation. You're 14.5-point underdog. You look terrible your last time out on defense. And you think you made progress in your recruiting, and your top 2 recruits are now decommitted. But I've also learned to never hang my hopes on a player or 2 in a recruit. Just don't do it, because it's never going to break your heart. Now, what resolves that? Winning. Winning takes care of everything. Now, just for a moment, suspend belief, because I don't think this is going to happen, but let's just say, what if Florida beat Georgia on Saturday? Impossible? No. Unlikely? Yes. But what if? And if Florida did beat Georgia, how would that change things? A whole bunch. So I'm not ready to wave the white flag just yet. I know it's a low point. A lot of Gators are, as I said in my column last week, Chicken Little's knocking at the front door again. It feels like the sky's falling, and it's a real low point. And we've been through this before. We just got through this with McElwain and Muschamp, and we thought we were going the other direction. Guess what they're saying? Fans, not me. And here we are, get to a point, and all of a sudden, Shane, I'll take you back to last year. Mullen was 29-9, and the next step up was going to be as I said, in the Cosmos Championship. Cosmos with Spurrier and Urban, and all of a sudden, in these last 10 games, it's gone sideways. And you can look at it any way you want to. You can examine it. You can say, okay, let's take it like this. Here's what happened. We've done this 100 times. All right, what happened in the shoe game? I call it the curse of Marco Wilson's shoe game. And, and I don't say he's to be blamed forever. I'm just saying it all started.
But we had 3 turnovers in that game, so you can't point to that as the reason we lost that game.
Yeah, I can point to it. You can disagree with what I can point to it. And I'm talking about here the apocryphal, like what started going wrong. If you're superstitious, I'm not, by the way. I'm just saying that isn't it funny that it all started then? And since that time, it's been downhill ever since. Losing the last 3, opening up, losing to Alabama, and I think Dooley said it, I believe yesterday. I don't quote Pat Dooley too often, but he said, wouldn't it be something if the best win of this year was a 2-point loss to Alabama? And so I think that's where we are. We're not into moral victories around here, but there's a lot going on here. But just think about it for a second. What a historic moment this would be if the tables were turned. Am I saying what happened? No, I'm just throwing out the possibility that would change things. Stop dreaming about recruits and about one person. Think about a team and building a team and what can be salvaged. And I'm worried about this team. I'm worried what might happen, because you know what can happen when the opt-out start.
Well, I don't know who the hell on our team needs to be opting out, because I'm glad you went there, buddy, because Richard says here on Facebook Live, Mac's staff had a better eye for talent than this current staff. Both couldn't recruit high-quality kids on paper. And the reason I bring that up is, I've had a lot of people ask me, Mullen in his first 3 years won with Jim McElwain's talent. Now, year 4, there's a couple of guys, I believe, still in this roster, Damian Pierce, Zach Carter, maybe 1 or 2 other players that are still McElwain recruits. And that's the thing now. Dan says here on Facebook Live, we need to be in the top 3 in SEC recruiting, not 6 or 7. And I agree with that 100% because, I think recruiting will help. And I've been preaching about this facility for many, many years. And it's not going to change a kid's mind, but it can only help. But as you said just a few minutes ago, players will come if you're winning. If you look where the top players go in America, they're going to go to the teams that are winning, that are in the hunt for the 14 playoff. And my concern is right now, do I think our talent is equivalent to Georgia? Not even close. Buddy, my question is, how many of our 22 starters do you think could start for the Georgia Bulldogs? Right off the top of your head.
We talked about this thing last week. I mean, I'm not sure more than 1 or 2.
I think 1.
And I'm not sure. I don't know their personnel that well. So,
yeah.
Well, you know what? Elam's got it.
Go ahead.
Kyrie Elam's going to show me a little more. All right. I mean, when I kept bringing up guys like, I know, I don't care about that. I'm talking about college right now. And, we had this conversation last year, a couple of years about Tony. I was a big Tony fan from day one. And everybody, including you and Leva Griffith, said, well, he hadn't shown me anything yet. And you were right. But, boy, he showed something last year, and now he's showing something. I think Kyrie Elam's best football is yet to be played and may not be played at Florida. So I know everybody loves him. He's a great cover corner, all that. Sure, fine. Everybody loved Marco Wilson, too. I'm just saying, look, Shane, who'd you get recruited by?
Jalen Hall.
And who else? What other schools recruited you?
LSU, Florida State, Texas A&M. Okay. Pretty much everybody south of Alabama.
Okay, so what would you have been in? How many stars?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, buddy, I was only 6'2", 165 pounds.
Well, I don't care. Just tell me what you would be. Tell me, would you be a 4-star, 3-star, what?
Oh, man, I have no idea. I mean, I wouldn't fit the bill of what people wanted. I can tell you that.
That's my point. And I think what I'm trying to say to you, I mean, John Reeves was a 5-star plus, whatever. My point is that how did Steve Spurrier build his team? Where is Chris Doring from? Where is Terry Jackson from? I'm just making a point here. Yes, you have to get better at recruiting, but some of the greatest players have not been 5 stars at Florida. And if you're thinking you could if you think you're going to compete with Kirby Smart, you ain't going to do it. Look at the budget. You see the budgets that came out yesterday? The recruiting budget? You know how much Georgia spends?
Yeah, I think that's skewed a little bit because people talk about how Georgia doesn't have their own plane, but their coaches are flying private. Their coaches ain't going to the Atlanta International Airport getting on a Delta commercial flight. They're flying NetJets or something like that out of Athens. So that's probably why their prices are jacked up. Well, I just had a Facebook Live here and I lost it. Oh, it was somebody said Coach Mack recruited Trask, Tony, and Pitts, those guys that are playing in the NFL right now, which he did. So we shall see. Mary wants to know on Facebook Live, how long has it taken Smart to make it to where he has Georgia this year? This is Kirby's 6th year, I believe, or 5th year. They've been in top recruiting for quite some time. Joseph says some of the greatest players have also been 5 stars. It goes both ways. Saying stars don't matter is ridiculous. Yeah. I mean,
I didn't say stars. Wait. I didn't say stars don't matter. I think people are obsessed with this idea that you can get all the 5 stars. Check with me on this. How many natties has Kirby won so far?
None.
He got all the players. He got all the 5 stars. How come? I mean,
he has played for 1 national title. He's won what? 1.
Okay, that's not the point, though. I get it. Look, it's like, what else is going to be brought up? What's wrong? Facilities are bad. Don't get to fly private. Whatever. I don't think Coach Spurrier would have made those kind of excuses. I'm sorry. He was not a great recruiter. He was a great ball coach.
But he won. That's the thing.
Yeah,
he won.
I get it.
Play in.
When you don't win, that's what happens. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. We got a text on the Titan Whittemore text line. If Mullen doesn't keep the score, I don't know who this is from. They didn't give me a name. If Mullen doesn't keep the score respectable this Saturday, a seat will get hot and he won't have an opportunity to cool it down the rest of the year. Well, I mean, we're going to be favored to win the rest of the games. Another text here on the Titan MR text line from Daryl. He says, "Good morning, guys. The pressure is on Georgia. Maybe they will play tight Saturday."
And that could happen.
I guess
that could happen.
It could. We'll see. Turn your car or truck into a rolling billboard for your business or brand with the eye-catching vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot this October. Mention promo code Shane. Receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Speaking with Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show here. We'll be joined by Trent Whittemore a little bit later. Richard says the 94 class had Fred Taylor, Reedale Anthony, Ike Hilliard, Mo Collins, Ed Chester, and Mike Peterson. That's a bunch of NFL dudes right there.
Mm-hmm. He had some good classes, but the knock on Spurrier was he couldn't recruit. That was a knock on him all the time. I remembered it well. And he was always in the. He never had a recruiting class outside the top 10 in America. I don't think. I'm not so sure about that. I also remember them talking about Urban. And how I remember Muschamp complaining he was left with an empty cabinet. Yeah, and I'm thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he top 5 almost every year? And Muschamp says they didn't leave many players. I get it.
I think that was when Urban was on his way out. I don't think that last.
Well, I mean, he still had a top class. He had a top class. He had the best recruiting ever done over a period of 5 years in Florida was Urban Meyer. But, so by far, by the way. But, all right, so we get it. We know the defense has got to get better. We know they got to recruit. That's not going to change things between now and Saturday. They got to win, and they got to fix the defense. I get all that. I agree with all that. But, look, you've been around sports a long time, and so have you. I'm not predicting that Florida will win, but I've seen things in my day, all right? I mean, I was at Lake Placid, all right? I was there. I was at the Super Bowl when Namath. I was there. I was there when the Colts, the mighty Colts, got beat by the New York Jets. I've seen a few upsets in my time. It can happen. That's sports. Is it predictable? No. That's why Florida's a 14.5-point favorite, underdog to Georgia. Georgia Bulldogs are loaded. My question to you, Shane. What about inspirational players and coaches? You ever had an inspirational coach?
I mean, no, you don't have inspirational coaches in the National Football League. So I really played for only one guy, and that's Spurrier. I mean,
and that's the guy.
He wasn't a rah-rah guy, or we were very confident because he was confident. And so I guess the answer to that is no.
Okay, interesting. Because I think he was inspirational because he won, and he taught you to believe in yourself. But that's a matter of words. You played for him, I didn't. But I want to say to you, did you ever play with any inspirational players?
Oh, you always play, especially usually on defense, because defense is all about emotion. And that's what I've had a problem with the last couple of weeks defensively, buddy. Mm-hmm. And people want to disagree with me because they want to put all the blame on Ty Grantham. And I totally understand that. Whether he should be the defense coordinator or not, defense is emotion, attitude, and effort. And I don't care if you're in any kind of scheme, people can blame that. Don't let the other guys block you. Get off the blocks, shed a blocker, go make a tackle, penetrate the gap, go make a play. And that's where I didn't see anybody doing that against LSU. I hope we play with better effort in the Gator Bowl on Saturday, because if we don't, we will get embarrassed. And then people can blame Ty Grantham all they want. But the bottom line is, don't let the other guy block me on defense. And I said on your show last night, I've said it all week on my show. People want to make a quarterback change. I get it. But I feel like there's bigger problems on this team than the quarterback. And if you make a quarterback change because you want somebody that's more productive, well, how about let's change some dudes on defense that are going to give us some effort and not get blocked. That's all I've been saying.
Okay, let's talk about that. Is there anybody who can lead over there? Maybe what they don't have is leadership. I made a list of players I thought could make a difference, and just off the top of my head, I'm just saying, okay, what Florida needs is inspirational play by somebody, and obviously good coaching, which we all bring into question. Although you don't believe in that, you think it's more about the players. So let's talk about it for a second. Let's start with offense. What if this was the game that we really saw Anthony break out, AR-15 break out, and be that guy? What if he came out and threw 6 touchdown passes? I mean, is it crazy? Well, we'll see. On offense, I made a list of 5 names of guys I'd like to see step it up and could lead. And first of all, the running backs. I think Naquan Wright has had moments this year that have been really, really good. I believe Trent Whittemore could be an inspirational player. Who's going to step up? Justin Shorter? What about hey, look, what about a crazy play by Crawshaw, the punter? You never know. Who on that offense could step up and make a play? Or what if Emery had a huge game of his life? We'll see. Over on defense, yesterday, Zach Carter was asking about Georgia, what it would mean to him. He said it would mean everything. That's what I want to hear, everything. And if you make a list of people on defense, I don't know, I'd throw in, you put your guy in Elam in there, maybe it's time for him to show himself. Maybe he needs to step up and make some big plays. Cox, what about him against his old team? Shouldn't he be stepping up? Jeremiah Moon, what about Diabate? I'm looking for somebody to step up, Shane. Anybody there ring a bell with you?
Well, I mean, yeah, we can all sit here and talk about stepping up and being a leader. It doesn't mean you have to be a rah-rah, do all these antics to the crowd. Just go out and do your job. That's what a leader's about. And, the other issue, since we all have the answers, right, buddy? We all think we have the answers, whether it's me, sure, you, all the fans listening.
That's what we do.
One thing that has really bothered me, it hasn't bothered me, but it's starting to bother me. I feel like we play too many players. Okay.
Yeah, you said that before. You said that, yeah.
For example, on offense, every other series, we change every skill player. So we're going to open up the series with Copeland, Whittemore, Henderson, and a tight end and whatever running back. The very next series, we got 3 new receivers, another tight end, and another running back. I don't understand why we do that. I've never been on a team or seen a team that rotates that much. I know they want to keep them fresh, keep everybody happy, give them playing time. But bottom line is, play your starters until they're tired. If a guy runs a couple go routes, he needs a break, put somebody in there. But that's and we've been doing it on defense for a long time too. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I don't have the answers. I just have watched a lot of football, played on a bunch of teams.
Sorry,
and I've never been on a team where you rotate so many players. And I think that has that's a problem.
I don't disagree with you. That was a situation of substitution has gotten out of hand. To me, last year was really bad when the players on defense couldn't even line up. That's just not good. That communication broke down completely. And I get what you're saying. As a quarterback, I can see why you want to get into a rhythm. Sometimes you got to throw 4 or 5 in a row to the same group, whatever. And changing out is not the answer, especially if you're not loaded with talent. If you got so many good players, you can't get them on the field. That's a great problem to have. I agree with you on that. I think you're right. And the other thing you said, and you were right against LSU, although you don't say it now, you said the front 7 is not big enough, and they're not enough size, not enough bulk. The transfer portal helps some. But, you're talking about monsters on defense for Georgia. They got some monsters. And they got a guy like Jordan Davis, who's even been mentioned in the Heisman Trophy. Number 99 is going to be all up in there come Saturday. So everywhere you turn, 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. But wait, Florida beat those 5 stars last year. How'd that happen? So I don't know. It's possible. We can sit here and diagnose it and talk about the fact what they don't have and how bad a Coach Mullen is, how bad Grantham is, whatever. They still got to play the game on Saturday. And I believe that the game is not over until the final scoreboard is up there. We'll see what happens. You can't have this give-up attitude. A lot of people have it. I'm discouraged. I've said it. I wrote the most critical columns on Mullen and his staff I've ever written the last 2 weeks. And I get why the Gator Nation is disappointed. But come a point, you got to dance with the one that brung you, as he used to say.
Yep. Cliff says on Facebook Live, someone made a comment yesterday on Steve Russell's show about Grantham wearing a different color shirt from the rest of the coach staff. What are your thoughts, Shane? Usually the defense coordinator, offense coordinator wear a different color shirt than the rest of the coaching staff. I don't have a problem with that. John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mental Law, referring to me talking about subbing guys out every other series. He goes, you didn't see Jalen Waller, Devontae Smith coming out last year, or Najee Harris. Georgia's so-called monster stay in the game too. Yeah, buddy, it didn't really bother me the last couple of years. I didn't really think about it, but now that we've lost some games and stuff, I mean, you got to play your best players till they get tired. I mean, think about if Coach Spurrier would have taken out Ike, Riedel, Kwesi, and Doring every other series. Think about that.
That's a bunch of touchdowns right there.
I'm not comparing any receivers on this team to that crew. I mean, there's no reason to send me any Facebook Lives because none of those guys would play in front of Kwesi, Ike, and Riedel, and Doring, and McGriff. Nobody on this team would. But, the same way, if you look at teams nowadays, yes, they rotate their running back some, but leave somebody in there for two or three series and let them get 10 carries. You know what I mean? I don't know. And like I said, we all feel like we have the answers. We're not in the meeting rooms. We're not at practice. That's what's great about sports talk is we're all experts.
Yeah. No doubt about that. We've got a business if we weren't. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm a storyteller. I like stories. I like stories of people that had their backs against the wall and nobody believed in them. And, the underdog story is a great story. And I've been telling it for a lot of years. And this is a classic underdog story right now. There's some things wrong. We could sit here and pick Dan Mullen apart for a lot of reasons. However, having said that, in my opinion, I wouldn't want anybody else but Dan Mullen as the head coach of Florida Gators right now. And I think the biggest disconnect for Gator fans is that Dan appears smug, like he has all the answers. Even though he says he doesn't, this is a general attitude when he comes across that way, is that he has the answers. He knows best. I guess that's what you have to do when you're the head coach. You aren't supposed to let fans pick your starting quarterback, as they say. But when you add it all up, as you point out, all the flaws come out at one time. When you're losing, you're a lousy recruiter. When you're getting beat up. When you look at it on paper, other than that terrible defensive performance at LSU, they played pretty well this year for the most part. So now it's a moment of truth when you got the game. I don't recall a bigger game for Florida. I'm thinking back about it. I don't know that. Certainly not. I don't think Mullins had a bigger game, has he?
Yeah, the SEC championship game was a big game.
Yeah, but I mean,
this game, honestly, it's big, but it doesn't mean anything, buddy. I mean, you want to win it. But it's not like if we lose it, we're knocked out of the SEC title race. This is just basically, what can we do to salvage our season? What can we do to spoil Georgia? It doesn't matter if Georgia loses this game; they're going to Atlanta. I mean, Kentucky's going to lose again they beat Kentucky, so they're going to Atlanta, and all they have to do is. I take that back. If they were to lose to us, it puts them in the 14 playoff, not making it in jeopardy.
Exactly.
Because if they're undefeated and they lose to Alabama, they're going to get in the 14 playoff.
Exactly.
But I don't know if it's the biggest game that Mullins coached. I felt like last year's SEC championship game, because you were playing for a championship.
Bigger in this sense. I know what you're saying. I'm not talking about because there was not much of a chance Mullins was going to win that game, just like there isn't now. Maybe I didn't say what it means more. I just think emotionally, here's a guy who has fallen from the mountaintop since last year. Think about what's happened. Is Dan Mullen a 500 coach? I don't think so. Look at his record. Look what's happened. Now, he's lost to LSU twice. He's lost to number one, a couple times, and it's happened. I just think for the program right now, given where he is, with his coaching staff in jeopardy, jobs on the line, recruiting for the future. This game is, to me, the biggest game Dan Mullen's ever coached at Florida.
Let me ask you this. When you brought up recruiting, Florida were to upset Georgia, do you think that's going to change recruiting?
Absolutely would change it.
You do?
Yes, I think it'll be 2 or 3 players would flip over. I absolutely think it would.
Really?
Yes. Shane, you've seen people flip and flop and whatever on a game. Yes, I think it would change it now and change it for next year. That'd be 2 years in a row. It'd be Georgia, mighty Georgia. Yes, I think it would change it.
But the difference is Georgia's still going to be playing for an SEC title. And
that's fine. That's
playoff berth.
Okay, well, great. Nothing you know about that. Ship has sailed for Florida. All they can do is what's in front of them. Only thing they can do. It's a meaningful moment. Mullen's situation is a little shaky. Not that he'd ever get fired, nor should he. It's laughable. But you can't lose your fan base. And this fan base is almost back to where it was when he arrived here. That's how bad it is. Shane, I talk to people every day on my show, and you do too. There's some people out there who feel pretty desperate about this. And some of them want to fire Mullen. I talked to a friend of mine a couple of days ago who's one of the biggest Gator fans I know. And he said, there's right now, I see this fan base is fractured. You have 20% of the people who want Mullen fired. Forget them. You have another 20% that thinks Mullen's job should be in jeopardy. 20% of the people are okay, and 20% of them don't want him to change anything. So there's different layers of fans right now. I think the older fans are a little bit more forgiving because they've been through the bad times. There's people out here today who want Mullen fired today on the spot. Can you believe that, Shane? Do you know what it does to the program to fire the head coach? Check with Tennessee. How's that going?
Oh, I'm not questioning firing anyone, honestly. I just think we've got to figure out a way to get top-notch players to come play for us. That's the bottom line. And I don't know how you fix that, but I mean, like I said, I believe the top-notch players in America want to go to the schools that are in the hunt for the 14 playoff. I mean, I think I don't follow recruiting close enough, but if you broke it down, and I don't know who the top 5 to 7 teams in American recruiting, but I can promise you it's going to be Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia,
Clemson.
And then I still think Clemson and LSU. I don't know about LSU right now, but it's always been a great place for kids to go play. They love that atmosphere, the program at LSU. They're always going to be in the top in recruiting. So I don't know how you fix it. I really don't, because it's frustrating. I totally get it. We got a couple of Facebook Lives here, buddy, before we let you go. John says he is definitely on the hot seat. He has to make some changes at the end of the season. I understand that.
Yeah.
I guess where I keep going, and I look at it from a player's perspective and a coach's perspective, being a high school volunteer coach for a long time and being a coach's son and having sat in so many meetings in the NFL for so many years, I look at it too and I say, okay, can you blame the coaches? Yes. But again, players have to make plays. And maybe we just don't have talented enough players to make those plays right now. I'm just saying, I'm trying to look at it from both sides. So anyway, we'll see here. Cliff says Clemson and Florida have the same win-loss record. Yes, but Clemson has played and won how many national titles in the last 5 or 6 years? Quite a bit. Lauren says his seat is not hot at all. No, I don't think so. I mean, Dan's not going anywhere.
Unless he wants to, unless he decides to coach the NFL and really someplace that could happen. But no, the idea that he would be fired or pushed out is ridiculous. Now, got to make some staff changes. Todd Grantham's where we're going to have to go. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens on Saturday. I want to wait and see. I'm pretty pessimistic, but I think there's still some things to be determined.
Here's the recipe for us to beat Georgia. Okay, we have to come out not playing scared. And the last 2 offensive game plans, we have been way too conservative. Open it. The only way you're going to beat Georgia is throw the football. and throw it almost like every day. We ain't going to run the football on this team, buddy. We ain't running it. I would throw it every down. And if we throw a bunch of interceptions, we get a bunch of sacks, I don't care. That is the only way we can beat this crew. And whether it's Anthony, Emery, doesn't matter. The quarterbacks are going to have to make plays that aren't on schedule, meaning protection is going to break down. We're going to run around and make crazy plays. I just think that's what's going to happen. And we're going to have to hope Georgia cannot run the football on us and Stetson Bennett doesn't play well. I'm a big fan of Stetson Bennett. I think he's an outstanding quarterback. I know the so-called experts don't, but we were losing 14-0 last year to this crew, and then Stetson Bennett got hurt, and it went downhill from there. So I think we got to come out firing, buddy, or we ain't going to have a chance.
You're preaching to the choir, my friend. I think the only way Mullen knows is to attack and stop wasting those first 3 series. He messed around. Go right for the jugular right off the bat. And that's why I was so upset with his decision against Kentucky to burn those 3 timeouts. I go to my grave saying that was a mistake, because what did he do the next time against LSU? Touchdown on Hail Mary. So he's an attacker. For him to be passive doesn't fit his personality. And I agree. They got to be aggressive.
Yep, there's no question about that. Joseph has a Facebook Live here. If you think a defensive stud prospect is going to come to Florida regardless if we win this weekend, you really don't understand recruiting. If you think winning is all it takes to get good prospects, then we should already be getting them, because Florida has won a lot of them.
Yeah. I hear all that. Listen, let me tell you something. Who's the best defensive coordinator in the country? Who is it? Charlie Strong? I don't name a name. I don't care. Name somebody.
I don't.
Well, let's just throw Charlie Strong in there because somebody else comes with the name, whatever. Do you think for 1 minute, if Charlie Strong came to be the defensive coordinator, that it wouldn't get the attention of kids? Of course it would. It's changeable still. Well, so I'm not buying that.
People want to think about Charlie when he had Brandon Spikes and Joe Hayden and all these NFL guys. It didn't work so great at Texas or South Florida. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I don't think. I mean, why would Charlie Strong want to have to deal with recruiting whenever whatever he's making under Urban as a linebacker coach?
All right, Shane, hold on. I asked you to give me a name. You didn't give me one, okay? I just threw one out there. I'm not saying he's the guy.
I think Brent Venables.
All right, fine. Put Brent Venables in there. I don't care.
I think Kirby is outstanding, and I don't know who calls his defense, whether it's Muschamp from being a special teams coordinator or whatever his title is now. I think George is outstanding on defense. So whoever their coordinator is.
All right. Ask how you like Pete Golding in Alabama. He's about to get fired. So there you go. I mean, the point is,
he ain't get fired.
Well, there's a lot of discontent about Pete Golding. I listen to him every day. Call Fine Mom show.
Here's what I try to tell people. Who is the head coach at Alabama?
Well, I know Saban won't fire him, but I'm just saying there's a lot of discontent about it.
Well, those people are dumb, because Nick Saban is the guy in charge of that defense. Okay? Alabama's defense is not what it's been because their front seven is not as talented as they had in the past. But if anybody wants to point fingers at Alabama's defense, they need to point fingers at the head coach, because he is in charge.
Well, then they're pointing fingers at him. They're criticizing. There are criticisms. I try to
tell people, Coach Mullen knows the plan when we go into a football game, or what the defense is going to do. He is the head coach. If he, at any point in the game, wants to change the defense, he is in charge of that football team. He can do it. He can tell them, Todd, blitz the hell out of them the next 5 plays. That's all he's got to do. So, anyway, buddy, we've taken up way too much of your time.
Yeah, no, not mine. That's all right. Listen, tonight we say goodbye to Cassidy Hill. We're sad but happy for her. She's going to cover the Green Bay Packers. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's so awesome. She's going to love that place. There's no place like Green Bay. It's my favorite venue in all of pro sports.
Except December. Except December. Other than that, it's nice.
Yeah, but it's still awesome. So
yeah, buddy, All right, my man. Have a good one. Talk to you later.
All right, that's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Whittemore hotline. We're going to take a timeout. Come back. We'll be joined by Trent Whittemore. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Rap Spot, Okito America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Are you tired of being sidelined by nagging pain? Hi, I'm Emmett Smith, Hall of Famer and Dance with the Stars champion. Happy to tell you about QC Kinetics and their biologic therapies for treating pain without drugs or surgery.
Are you suffering from chronic pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, or lower back? Are you tired of living with arthritis pain? QC Kinetics offers natural pain treatment that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints.
Listen, I know pain, and I've seen firsthand how powerful biologic therapies can be. Patients at QC Kinetics rave about their result because they're getting their lives back. They're getting moving again.
These exciting regenerative treatments used to be available only to pro athletes like Emmett. Now they're available to anyone thanks to QC Kinetics. Call today for your free consultation.
Get long-lasting results from my friends at QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. In North Central Florida, call 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Point's where the Gators go to celebrate. With premium brands like Nike, Prime and Pearl, Regal Cinemas, Medici, Dave & Buster's, Skechers, and the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Make your reservations today at spurriers.com. And now open Thursday through Saturday, Visors Tailgate and Rooftop Bar. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. But now we're going to the Titan MRI hotline where we're going to be joined by Florida Gator wide receiver Trent Whittemore. Good morning, Trent. How are you?
Good, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Trent, how you feeling, first of all?
Feeling all right. Getting better by the day. Just doing what the trainers are telling me to. So, yeah, I'm improving.
Wait a second. Let me turn to the side again. Let me see that hairdo you got working now.
Yeah, a little mullet action inspired by Luke Matthews himself. So
that's great. Yeah, so you're obviously when you were injured at LSU a couple of weeks ago, it was kind of a scary deal. You know, I watched the replay a couple of times. The guy kind of fell on you in an awkward position, and I wasn't sure how serious it was, but it was just basically some type of ankle sprain, right?
Yeah. Just an ankle sprain. Luckily, it wasn't more than that. So praising God for that. And like I said, getting better every day.
All right, Trent. So we get ready for the Georgia Bulldogs this Saturday. They're the number one team in the country right now. First of all, let's talk about the bye week. You know, as a former player and even as a coach, I never like bye weeks because you want to compete every week. And then coming off a loss, talk a little bit about how hard it was. Now, obviously, you're going through rehab, doing a little bit of practicing here and there. But how difficult is it going through a bye week during the middle of the season, coming off a loss?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. Just as a team, you know, we got a bad taste in our mouth, and to have to wait a week, just kind of let that loss hang over your head is hard. It's hard for team morale, like you said, that we're not able to, move on to another opponent and focus on getting a W. But I think the team did a good job with it. I was able to get several good practices in, as well as a little rest for guys that were banged up and needed it. So I think we took advantage of the bye in a good way.
Trent, when you look at the Georgia team, obviously, their defense is unbelievable right now. We know about their front seven is probably the strength of the defense. I haven't watched tape, only just watching on TV. What do you think about their secondary? What kind of coverage do they play? Do they play a lot of zone or more man?
Surprisingly, they played a lot more zone this year. I think they just know that they can play every type of motion, every type of shift. If the team has done it, and they just stayed in zone and played it, out of some cover 3 looks and things like that. So they're definitely great athletes back there, all highly recruited guys. And like you said, that front seven gets after the quarterback and stops the run really, really well. So they've been really successful this year, but we feel like we got a good plan and that we're going to be able to do some things on them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think this will be the best offense that they faced all year long. And we all know last year, Coach Mullen had a good plan. They couldn't cover the wheel route. I'm sure they have that dialed up this week on their cards for their scout team. We got a text here on the Titan Whittemore text line. It comes from Janet. She wants to know, Trent, what is your major in college?
I am a sport management major with a minor in business.
Okay, good deal. We got another text here. It's from Brian. Brian wants to know, Trent, how's your brother season at Troy going so far?
It's going pretty well. He had a really hot start to the year. He's cooled off a bit, but they got a huge game versus Coastal on Thursday, a little Fun Belt action on one of the ESPN channels, I think. I believe they are 4-2, so they're playing pretty well.
All right. So when you look at, we talked about the Georgia defense, obviously outstanding front seven. I don't want to say a weakness, but do you think the weakness or where you can attack the Georgia defense is in the passing game?
Yeah, like you said, I don't know if it's necessarily a weakness, but they just haven't been tested, too awful much just because they've been so good on first and second down. They seem to have everybody in third and long, every game. But I think if we do a good job of staying on schedule, we'll put ourselves in a lot of good opportunities to make big plays.
Obviously, Georgia's probably the number one rivalry for the Florida Gators, besides maybe FSU. But, being in the conference, it's a huge, huge game. Do the coaches approach this week any different than getting ready for, say, a Tennessee or the Alabama game because it's Georgia?
I don't know if there's a different approach. There's always, just something about the team. We know this one's real important just because it's that SEC matchup. It's a huge rivalry, and both teams are talented every year. So it's just one that you need to go out and get every year. So I don't know if we approach it differently, but it is a mindset that the team has. Every year versus Georgia, we need this one, and that's consistent every year.
Trent, do you know what your passer rating is right now?
I don't. I imagine it's pretty high, though.
Yeah, I don't know it either. I just was curious because you've thrown no incompletion so far, my man, with the little jet sweep throwback to the quarterback against LSU. So maybe y'all have some tricks up your sleeve for the Georgia Bulldogs. We appreciate you taking the time, my man, and good luck against the Dogs.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, buddy. Take care. That's Trent Whittemore. Join us on the Titan Whittemore Hotline. Going to take a final timeout, come back, wrap up this Tuesday edition. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics. Live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips. It's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters,
Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avera and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Visor's Tailgate and Rooftop Bar, located on top of Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point, is now open Thursday through Saturday. Visor's covered open-air bar is the perfect place to gather after work or meet up with friends. You'll love the handcrafted cocktails and elevated shareables available every Thursday through Saturday. Visor's Tailgate and Rooftop Bar is perfect for fans of great food, great drinks, and great weather. Visor's not required. High spirits are highly encouraged. Visit spurriers.com/visors.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Center State Bank is now South State Bank, but we still put business first. We understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State still has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member FDIC. I want to thank Buddy Martin and Trent Whittemore for joining us on the Titan MRI Hotline. This day in sports brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. At Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. Comfort Temp is now hiring team members with all levels of experience, great culture and benefits, and opportunity for growth. $1,000 signing bonus for qualified positions. Give Comfort Temp a call, 352-376-2366. This day in sports, if I can pull it up here, in 1982, Steve Carlton of the Philadelphia Phillies becomes the first pitcher to win 4 Cy Young Awards. That's brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Tip. You got tonight, you got the first game of the World Series with the Braves and the Astros. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, folks. We'll have JC, but we'll also have Buck Ballou, former Georgia quarterback, will be joining the program as well. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Today's show is a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. See you tomorrow.
Trying to get the fans fired up. 2nd down and 10. Matthews rolling to his right, in trouble, can't find anyone. Now he throws it for Harrison Houston, who makes the catch. He's in the open field. Harrison to the 20. They're not going to catch him. Touchdown Gators.